Hey y'all, Kinetic MC, Young Clooney, Swagger Vance, Stank Abbott, in the hizzy. I got no new nicknames. We're gonna try again on that next week. I'm coming at you with another episode of, you guessed it, Car Thoughts. Now, before we get into this week's topic, I want to talk about last week's show that I did. I was really bashing on women. Not like overly, but I've been taking in a lot of red pill alpha male propaganda, and I apologize to all the beautiful women. And of course, you know what? You can be as crazy as you want to be. It's my job to just filter it a lot better and make better decisions in life. And that's all. And so that's all I got to say about that. That's my little take back from last week. Anyways, we're going to get on with the show. This week, it's the Valentine's Day episode. Aw. And this is for all the happy couples out there. And deep down, from the bottom of my heart, I truly am grateful that if you are in a happy, loving relationship right now, that you are able to celebrate Valentine's Day that way. Do the whole thing. Get the flowers, the chocolates, write the romantic poem. That's what I be doing. I'm a romantic poem guy. And just treat them well. But also remember that it's just a day, and don't go too over the top, and just be there. Just be present and enjoy each other. Because if you are in a happy and healthy relationship, you've truly earned that. You've truly earned the right to enjoy this day. So go for it. Now, for all my single people out there, single, ready to mingle, I want you to make good choices today. If you don't have a significant other to celebrate this wonderful occasion with, don't go out and just find like the first rando to like fill that void. Don't be that person. Don't just have sex or go and hook up just because you feel lonely on Valentine's Day. I want you to do the boss level thing. I want you to go out and eat a surf and turf dinner all by your lonesome. And it's not even your lonesome. Take yourself out on a date. I'm giving you permission right now. Take yourself out on a date. I mean it. And if you're allergic to seafood, please don't eat the surf part of the turf, but definitely eat the steak. And if you're vegan, well, you're shit out of luck. No, I'm just kidding. Go and eat a vegan dish. Go eat some cauliflower curry or something. But definitely, no, not even joking. If you are single and ready to mingle, just spend this day for some self-care. You got to do you, you can't always rely on others to fill that void. You have to fill your own cup. I've been told this numerous times, and I'm stupid and I'm bad at taking my own advice and others' advice sometimes, but you definitely have to fulfill yourself. The love starts here. I'm pointing to my heart center right now. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now smile. This is actually a self-care practice that I do every morning. I do breaths and I look in the mirror and I smile at that person and say, I love you, man. You're really awesome. And it's a really good self-care practice. It's something that I'm going to do every day, and especially on Valentine's Day. Just give yourself that self-care, that appreciation, and spend that day. I want to see you just treat yourself right today. If you're single. And if you're a couple, then definitely do what couples do. Just be there for them. Be there for them wholeheartedly. Now, I'm going to get on to the next part of this video, which is red flags. Now, if you're not in a happy, healthy relationship, or you're single looking to get into a happy and healthy relationship, if you're the toxic Avenger, if you're just toxic as fuck and you couldn't care about being in a good, healthy relationship, then this isn't for you. You should just skip ahead or just keep watching it and laughing at it and being like, haha, I'm all the red flags that he's talking about. But I digress, and let's carry on to some red flags to watch out for if you want to be in a happy, healthy relationship. First red flag is the overshare. If you first start talking to somebody online, you start texting them or you phone them, and there's no feeling out process. There's no like small story trade, just getting to know someone, and they just straight. And I'm guilty of this before. I've overshared in the past, but I've done a lot of inner work to avoid that. But if they just hop into some crazy story about their ex and how they like hacked through the door with a machete and like the SWAT team was there, well, obviously that one right there, if someone tells you that story, you should avoid them like the plague. But definitely look out for that. Oversharing is a signal of crappy times ahead. Remember that people, if you listen to people talk for long enough, that they'll show you their hand. Like you don't even have to really learn about them. They'll tell you right away how they are. Number 2 red flag, being way too emotionally detached. Now, this happens for a couple reasons. We won't touch on all of them, but I'll just touch on 2. Number 1, emotional trauma. Now, this happens in childhood where there's enough trauma that the person can't receive or give love properly. We all have skeletons in our closet, and we all know people to varying degrees that either can't love at all or love way too hard and get crushed all the time. Now, another reason this happens is it's learned behavior. So there's a lot of pickup artist lingo and techniques that involve withholding emotional support. It involves things like intentional ghosting and no contact. And if you're not familiar with no contact, it's when someone in your life doesn't want to be with you anymore, so you just like completely shut them down. If any time that they laugh at one of your comments or they even inbox you, you just ignore their messages. Now, this actually works to some degree in getting them to reestablish a connection with you, but at the end of the day, this is merely manipulation. So if you're ignoring somebody so that you can get a response out of them, you are manipulating them. So that is another red flag to look out for, is withholding emotional support and connection. Number 3 red flag. They literally tell you, I'm a big red flag. And this has happened to me, actually. Someone I was talking to online said, I am a big red flag. And I kind of just played with fire for a bit longer and then decided, nah, she's right. She's too wild for me. And this can manifest in a couple of ways. They can say things like, oh, you don't know about me, do you? Or, oh, they'd say I'm trouble. Like, heed these warnings. These are legit warnings. And if you don't heed them, they are literally telling you they're a red flag. Like, you don't have to be a bullfighter. You don't have to be a matador all the time. And I'm not going to use feminine or male pronouns in this anymore. This is an all-around thing. If you're in a relationship, you want it to be healthy and you want it to be reciprocal. You don't want what I'm going to come to point number 4 is one-sided. Now, that is a very unhealthy relationship. If one person is putting forth all of the effort to stay connected and to create fun adventure times, and the other person does literally fuck all, and they're just tagging along for tagging along's sake, and they're just absorbing whatever maybe even monetary gains, or they're not in it. They're not in the relationship for the right reasons, and one person is trying way too hard. There's a couple things that are happening here. The person that's trying way too hard is compensating. They're trying to win the other person's affection, and the other person realizes that maybe that they can get something out of the deal, and they just stay in the relationship for the sake of getting as much monetary gain and emotional leverage as they can. So that is something to be avoided. So that brings us to red flag number 5. And that is limiting your movements and being really overbearing. So if anyone has been in a really bad relationship, they end up with a person that basically tells them who they can hang out with, how much time they spend on their phone, and monitors every single one of their movements. Now, this is a very, very dangerous relationship to get into, because this is the precursor to domestic abuse. Now, what is not seen behind closed doors can't always be regulated. And sometimes these people, the victim of this, is put in a position where they think they're in the wrong. And even if they're getting emotionally and physically abused, they've been trapped under the other person's reign of terror for so long that they don't know how to escape. It's almost like a Stockholm syndrome at that point. All right, number 6 red flag. And this is going to be my final one, because I could go on all day about these. And there is always a reverse of this. There's always green flags that we can talk about. It's probably a happier subject for Valentine's Day, but I like to talk about edgy shit. Number 6 red flag is obsessiveness and jealousy. Now, these two things are killers of relationships. Number 1, if you obsess over somebody, like you want to spend every single moment of the day with them, and you equate being with them to your own happiness, that's not gonna, you're not gonna win in the long term on that. Because once they aren't available, let's say they work too much, you're just gonna be bored all the time. So it is everybody's responsibility to not obsess over any particular person, and create your own joy and happiness from within. Find a hobby. Like, I know some couples, and I've been in relationships before, where the other person just says they're bored all the time, but they're just doing the same crap over and over and over again. They don't have passions, no hobbies. Like, you create your own happiness from within. So remember that. No one creates that happiness for you. You have to be the bearer of that happiness, period. Now we're going to touch on jealousy a little bit. Jealousy is a lack of trust for the person that you're with. Now, you have to have a semblance of trust for a relationship to work. Also, there's a lot of people out there that are in monogamous relationships that should really think about being in an open relationship, because y'all can't do fucking monogamous at all. I do meditations on being a lot less jealous and just letting people exist, especially if it's a bunch of single people. If you're all single, and you shouldn't really care, like, oh, they were with Darren last week and now they're with Marshall, and I'm pissed about it, and like I wanted to, no, screw all that. Like, no one belongs to you, no one's property. And even if you are in a monogamous relationship, we're only sharing this earth and time together for a very short period of time. So let's just be able to be cohesive and co-inhabit this planet peacefully. Now, I know that the perfect utopia doesn't exist, but you know what? Let's make it exist for Valentine's Day. So shout out to all my happy couples, all the singles ready to mingle. Make good decisions that day. You know what? And always be someone's chicken sandwich. Don't be their popcorn chicken. All right. Peace.